Hi guys, welcome back to the Star Wars figure review. Next video we're going to take a look at one of the figures in the Black Series line. This is one of the brand new releases here. And this figure is one of those that has indeed been released sort of a commemorative style. Now the character of the figure that we are looking at is Anakin Skywalker in his original Clone Wars armour, which he wears through Seasons 1 and 2 of the Clone Wars and for a bit of Season 3. Now before we look at him properly, we'll take a look at the packaging this one comes in. Now this time we don't have standard Black Series packaging, we have more commemorative packaging once again, just like with the Qui-Gon I gave you a look at a few weeks back. This one is commemorative to the Clone Wars line that came out in 2008, and the packaging sort of took the idea of the backdrop of an actual Phase 1 clone trooper, and the figure was often included in there, and you had the different bios on the back. So Hasbro have really gone in to giving us something classic in their lines of Black Series. It's not the first time they've done this. They did it with Phantom Menace figures, because this one is commemorative for 50 years of Lucasfilm. We do have many more on the way too. On the back as well, we do have the timeline. But as I was saying, we've had many we had the ones for the Qui-Gon that came out early this year, and we had a couple of other sets of Phantom Menace figures in that before. We had some Empire Strikes Back themed vintage card backs last year for the 20th anniversary, for the 40th anniversary of the Empire Strikes Back, and we had that again back in 2017 with original Star Wars themed vintage card backs. And later on in the year we do have some Power of the Force themed card backs coming later on. So there's plenty to look forward to with these, and I'm loving how Hasbro are just going back and keeping these old ideas alive. It's something fun for mint and box collectors if they so wish to have something that looks more commemorative as opposed to just the standard Black Series packaging that we all know at the minute. But this is just fantastic to see this used again. They've really upscaled it into the 6-inch brilliantly, and they've captured it exactly the same on the front. On the back, of course, it's a bit different. As I said, it's got all that timeline stuff. Lucasfilm from its inception, 71, back when the films like THX 1138 and American Graffiti, then all the way through the original trilogy. Of course, between that we had Indiana Jones and Willow, and then of course we had the prequel trilogy, Star Wars Legends, and and then the Clone Wars series came into play, and Rebels, Rogue One, and the sequel trilogy. Plenty of good stuff that we've had out of there, and there's plenty more to come over the years. It gives me more hype. Maybe we'll get different other kinds of packaging like this one in the future. Maybe whether we get something with a Revenge of the Sith theme or something like that, which I think would be fantastic if they did. That's something I'd really look out for. But this is what we got for now, and it just really does the job well. So that is the basic Clone Wars style card back, released in Black Series scale. Worth a pick up for this alone. That's what it is. But now we get to the figure in full detail. So yeah, this is based off Anakin's appearance in Seasons 1 and 2 of the Clone Wars. And they've done a decent job in bringing this one back into a live action scale. Now it's not the first time this has been done with Clone Wars versions of the characters, because we had it done in the Vintage Collection a few times. And of course that turned out pretty well. We had Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka and Mace Windu brought to the live action sculpting in this, and they've done it with Captain Rex in the Clone Wars line in the past, so there's definitely something to say about that. They've done it with Ventress recently too, and it's really worked out well, as I gave a look at Ventress in my last review. But this one, it's got its ups, it's got its downs. The first one thing I really want to give is the facial sculpt. It's not the greatest of Anakin facial sculpts I've seen in this. I feel like for this one they're trying to give a hybrid between Anakin's look in Attack of the Clones and his look in Revenge of the Sith, and I just don't quite see it there from what we've got. It doesn't quite match Hayden Christensen. It's just a little bit off when it comes to it. I'm just shaking the figure a bit. There we go. But yeah, it just comes a little bit off in matching Hayden Christensen there. Of course, the hair is considerably shorter than the hair we do have on there. But of course, if you do happen to have the Revenge of the Sith Anakin, that one of course did come with two heads, because if perhaps you wanted to use that one as a dark side Anakin, you kind of need to switch the heads around. And I do have that Anakin to hand right now, so I'll just do that. So there, that's the Anakin we had in the Revenge of the Sith line. If I just put the light zipper down there, that's his Revenge of the Sith head as opposed to his new Clone Wars head. There's a bit of a difference there, but you do sort of see the similarity. This one has a more similarity feature in comparison to the Clone Wars one. So yeah, that's something just to sort of, it's just a sort of a slight problem that it has there, but you can still see the Anakin there. Like, you can see the character's meant to be there. They just haven't quite hit it with the photoreal face this time. So yeah, that's just my views on it. But the rest of the figure really stands out well. The main Jedi robes are plastic goods, so I'm just going to bring my chair forward a bit. Yeah, the main Jedi robes are plastic goods and attached in sort of there. They actually are separate parts, as you can see from the sides. You can actually sort of fit your fingers through there and they sort of move out. Get your fingers underneath on the inside as well. So that's sort of a separate sculpting which attaches to the armour chest plate. It's the same lower down, it's separate sculpting, you can move it up like that. The inside bit is soft goods, that does restrict the articulation a little bit, but you can move him around, get him in some fancy poses from the Clone Wars. The shoulder plates are of course attached to the armour as well, so it's some good look, and they've really sculpted his Jedi, because of course he does have the Jedi emblem on his shoulder armour in the Clone Wars armour, so yeah, this is a great figure at the same time as being that slight nitpick that I have with it. The lightsaber, of course, is very well sculpted too. They've decided not to reissue the Anakin's Jedi sculpt lightsaber from the Episode 3 one that had a very flimsy blade hilt to it. So they've gone back and they've re-sculpted it and given it a brand new sculpt. It is Anakin's based, as you can tell. There's always subtle differences between it when it's Anakin's as opposed to when it belongs to Luke or Rey. There's always subtle differences to it, as seen through here. But yeah, that works well. I'll just give you a full look of the rest of the figure now without the lightsaber in his hand, and especially on the back. They've really... I can't give the Hasbro praise enough for doing what they've done to make this figure be a fantastic thing. They've given his glove the different sculpting that it has. There's a bit of subtle difference in there, but that's not too much to be worried about. The entire body down sculpt really stands out as well, and the boots as well. Like they've given us an Anakin Skywalker figure based off his Clone Wars appearance, and they've delivered well. The lightsaber blade, of course, is removable. As it being at the newer sculpt, so it does hold the blade in a lot easier than the past Anakin figures have. There is, of course, the belt hook, where I'm just plugging it in now, on there, and his lightsaber hilt sits nicely in there, so you could have him with, if you happen to have the Clone Wars Ahsoka, you could have Anakin with him, and the Obi-Wan, and maybe have them chat, or have them with Yoda or Mace Windu or something, and it would just look really well. And that there is just, honestly, there's not much to fault with this figure. I'll give you a run down the articulation. You got the ball jointed and double neck hinge, double joints at the neck sort of thing. You got the main on the head, and then the bit on the neck. Ball hinged shoulders, ball hinged elbows, ball hinged wrists, the ball jointed torso, ball hinged hips. But as I told you, they are quite restricted with these soft goods. Bit robe below these parts. A return for this in the Black Series. I don't know whether this is just a one-off because they've kind of just kit bashed this and used it with the figure, but he's actually got double joints at the knees, which is not something we've seen very recently with figures. We've usually seen him get the ball joints, so that was strange to see. So we do get the swivel triceps this time. Again, as I said, I've missed them. We'd also get the ball joint rocker at the ankle. So yeah, it's a strange move to see them bring that back to there. But as I see, it's likely a kit bash lower down with an earlier release, and they've just sort of recoloured the legs to make them be as they were. But they have made it, because the Anakin in Revenge of the Sith had very sort of stretchy legs, but they sort of sealed that. So I'm not sure whether it's with Anakin or with any other characters, but this one does have the standpoint to it. You can of course have him in a strangulation pose, as I've just shown there. Of course, I am going to have him, there's the default pose if you're picking him in Battlefront that he has. He's sort of standing with his lightsaber like that in the video game Battlefront 2. If like you've been playing that, it really does stand out, and it's good to see Hasbro give us some of our main characters from their Clone Wars appearances. They're acknowledging them for releases, although many fans probably want them. And as I said again, to get the classic packaging for these, it was unexpected. I saw these go up for pre-order, and I was wowed to see the classic packaging being used as opposed to standard Black Series. I thought that it was just going to be that sort of yellow line that the Clone Wars have for theirs, that with that new style packaging. I would have expected that when they announced it, not what we got. I pre-ordered both Anakin and Obi-Wan, and I was pleased to get them. It's a wave of 4. We get Anakin, Obi-Wan. We get the ARC Trooper version of Echo, who a lot of you might remember, who is of course now part of the Bad Batch. And you also get, I believe it's a another one of the other style clone troopers, but I wasn't too bothered with that one. I might pick up Echo down the line if I get my hands on him, but the rest of them I'm not too the other one I'm not too bothered with getting compared to it. So yeah, But Anakin is a good starting point for this in this line. He really does. Is everything about him is just, yeah. He's one for any Clone Wars or Anakin Vader fan would want to have, and that's where this one comes into play. It's a well sculpted figure, really well done. All props of credit go to Hasbro for releasing him, but as I said again, the face is the little problem. So it just needs that little bit of fixing done to it. But other than that, it's a great figure worth having. I'll leave a link down in the description to where you can buy him. Do drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.